and even really the late 2000s, and it started to really shift. You started seeing dealerships, instead of starting an MSRP, they'd start just a little bit over invoice. And keep in mind, when I say invoice, what I'm saying is that's what the car dealerships pay for the car. And a lot of times when I say that to customers, they go, but that's not real. That's not really invoice. That's not really what you pay. Actually, it really, truly, honest to God is. It really is what we pay. They'll say, yeah, but you have holdback. Okay, yeah, some dealerships do. Now, Audi does not. Volkswagen does. Holdback, all that is merely is a percentage. For Volkswagen, it's 2%. You take the destination fee, which is usually $800 to $900. You take that off the price of the MSRP, you times it by 2%. That's marketing money. And really, again, it doesn't matter. So what's happened is that all of these manufacturers have said to their dealerships, well, we're going to give you a couple of different programs you guys can decide to use. Do you want to be a volume dealer? In other words, do you want to sell a lot of cars and not try to make a bunch of money off the customer, but instead sell a certain amount of cars and then we'll pay you for selling it? And so a lot of successful dealerships in today's world, that's what they do. They've become volume dealers. They make money from the manufacturer, not so much from the customer. Now, they do make money from the customer in other ways, but not so much in sales, service, parts. These are places that generate revenue. Now, I'm talking about this now because it's shifting right now again because of the supply and demand. But in the last, let's just say 10 years, it's been very much, I mean, there's been times I remember doing deals where we literally would go 2, 3, even $5,000 in very slim cases. But we've done it where we've been, $3,000 back of invoice. We've lost that much money. We'll say, oh, this is a loser deal. We're not, we don't do this. But really, we did it because we have to hit a certain number. We hit that number. Okay, we got to our 40. Now we're going to get paid from the factory. And so that's a reality.
Can I pause this?
Yeah.
Let's just talk from the layman.
Sure.
Right? Before we get into supply chain and all that stuff's interesting, this is awesome to understand how the behind-the-scenes business works on your end of the deal. So let me refresh what I've heard so far. You make deals with the factory. You buy cars from the factory.
Mm-hmm.
They sell you for X number of dollars, and you get this car on the lot. Sometimes it's volume. You get multiple cars. And you make deals that say, okay, well, if we sell so many cars this month, then they'll start paying you more as far as like back-end rebates and say, okay, Ivan, if you can sell, you say that you want 15 cars, but if you can sell 15, anything above 15, then we'll start giving you some rebates or deals. Did I hear that right?
That's correct. Now, it's a little bit even, yes, that is true. We also have things in place where we get a certain percentage, let's just say like a 1% per the vehicle MSRP, and the factory changes that monthly or yearly. They make sure that their dealers are getting paid, but again, it's what's critical here to understand is that we're not so much making money from the customer on the price of the car. Like we're not saying, oh, we bought the car for $20,000 and we're selling it for $25,000. We just made $5,000. It's not like that anymore. That used to be, and that was called gross. That's called vehicle gross. And so dealerships, when this changed, this change started happening, they say, well, we don't want to. What they started having was realizing is that, okay, if we're going to lose money on the front on this car, they call it the front end pricing. How are we going to make more money on the sale? And so what they would start to do is say, all right, well, we're going to make money on financing, and that's true. All dealerships make money on financing, and it's in the 90s, early 2000s, they were allowed to hold quite a bit of points, which was called reserve, and could make a good amount of money. That upset customers. And banks also felt like it was creating kind of a dishonest slate. So now what happens a lot of times is that dealers, they still get paid for financing, but they structure the loan. So just like if you walk into Idaho Central Credit Union and say, yep, I want to get an auto loan, that loan officer who structures that deal, he's going to get paid a flat for putting that deal together for you. So just a dealership gets the same thing. They set up the deal just like anybody else would, not really raising rate. There's still some banks that can do that, but for the most part in this area now, they're just called flats, which means Idaho Central gives me a rate of $299. I then give it the customer $299, and I get paid a 2 or 3% flat of that. Just like if you walked in for a loan officer. Same
it's
thing.
Just a fee. It's like a closing fee or some other fee. That's where you're making a little bit of revenues on structuring this deal.
Yep.
So if you're willing to sell cars for about the price that you bought them for, you're looking to make money in other ways. One of them is financing. Where else are you making your money? Because like as a customer, I'm dubious. You can't tell me that you're running this business for such low margins. You got to be making money somewhere.
Absolutely.
Where do you make your money?
Ancillary products, things like this. So you're going to buy the car. And let's say that I looked at my numbers. I said, geez, okay, I'm losing $1,000 on this. What am I going to? Oh, I'm going to make a little bit of money here on financing. Okay, I'll make $500 there. Then what I'm going to do is let's see what products I can sell. Now, unfortunately, some of the products in the past have been very cheap, and they were just big. They were just basically profit. They weren't even, there was no value in them. And we don't believe that, and our store doesn't. There's a lot of other stores that I think they're like us, but there's still some stores that use addendums. And what I'm going to tell you what an addendum is, and this is something that I really just don't like at all. And I really wish stores wouldn't do this because it's very, very deceiving. But what they do is they price their car. Let's just say I'm just going to say a price. Let's say they price a new Jetta, okay, a Volkswagen Jetta for $12,999 and they price it at that price. Now we have ours priced at $15,999. How are they that much less than us? That's crazy, right? Because we price ours extremely. We price ours oftentimes at invoice. So how are they that low? What they've done is they've added a pulse braking system, which, just so you know, is about $100 is what it costs. $100. And this is real stuff, guys. $100. And what it does when you put your foot on the brake, it flashes the brakes, and it just, you probably see them in traffic. The rear brake light just goes boop, 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 kind of just
I
whips.
hate them.
Yeah, well, that's called pulse. Well, there's a lot of dealerships out there that put them on every single one of their cars. They pre-install them. Whether so the brand new car comes in, whether it's bought or not, it doesn't matter. It's for dealer stock. They install it. Okay. Then they turn around. They offer that Jetta for $12,999. But then when the customer comes in, yep, I want to buy for $12,999. Oh, just so you know, this has the pulse braking system. It's a $3,000 ad, a $4,000 ad, and that's like a chess piece. They get to float that around. They do that with etch, which is a thing that they etch into the glass so that if it gets stolen, you can locate it. They do it with other products like that, and I find that to be deplorable, honestly. It's a way to like secure profit and to be able to move your pricing around so that you can kind of play the game of getting a customer in there. And at the end of the day, when these customers go in, they'll move that price around to where, yeah, they're back to $15,999 or they're